What's up, everybody? Christian back here with another album review for you guys. Today we're going to be looking at Ventura by Anderson Paak. I am not at all really into... Okay, I wouldn't say I'm not into hip-hop and soul and that. I am. I like all types of music. However, my main focus is rock and metal. So listening to this album was very different for me. My friend recommended I check this out, so I did. And here we go. I'm going to give you some thoughts on it. To begin, I definitely heard a lot of 70s, 60s soul kind of R&B vibe, Marvin Gaye, things like that, which is not a bad thing. I've seen recently in all the genres, in hip-hop, in soul, in R&B, in a lot of rap, even in a lot of rock and metal, that a lot of people are starting to go back to that 60s, 70s vibe. I don't know why that is, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because we're taking from the past and bringing it forward. Now with this Anderson Paak album, this was my first Anderson Paak album I've ever listened to. I've never really listened to anything else before him, so I had to do a little research to see what was up with that, and I saw that Dr. Dre did a lot of production on here. So that's pretty good because I know Dr. Dre is a very, very good producer, and just he's well known for making very highly produced albums. With Anderson Paak, like I said, I've never heard of him before, so I don't know what he's about, anything like that. If you guys want to educate me more, put so in the comment section below. I would love to learn more about what his story is, what happens with him, and where he's coming from with writing all this music. With the music itself, I think the album started out fairly well. The very first track on the album, which I believe is Come Home, starts out with this really nice stringy section, and I kind of dig that because I like a lot of classical music, a lot of orchestral music, so I definitely enjoyed that. Throughout the album, the beats are phenomenal. The use of instrument is phenomenal. I think the fact that they combine so many, jazz influences, soul influences. I think I even heard a little bit of rock influence in there. There's a hip hop section in every song, and the fact that you combine the 60s and modern day is pretty impressive. So I would say to begin with, that song really caught my attention due to the orchestral section. And in general, what I listen to in an album is not only the vocals and what's going on. As a musician, because I play guitar, I listen to the instruments. How do you combine the instruments together? How do you just arrange and compose the music? Because I think that is the central piece of an album and just music in general. And I would say I like the beats, I like the guitars, I liked all the instruments. There was definitely trumpets in there, all of the above. And I would say on that, I don't know if it's sampled or they actually got somebody to play the instruments, but regardless, I greatly enjoyed that aspect of it. In terms of the vocals, personally, I couldn't really get into it. I tried to listen to, there was definitely some songs that caught my attention more than the others, but for the most part, I kind of had a hard time getting into the vocals. Maybe again, it's because I'm not used to hearing this type of music. I'm used to hearing rock and metal, and still I'm starting to really get into that. And that was my main thing that throughout the album, it didn't grab me as much as I wanted it to. It started out fairly well. The first few songs I was kind of rocking to them. I liked the beats and everything, but then about halfway through the album, I just kind of lost interest. I listened to the whole thing, but about 5, 6 songs in, I just wasn't. It didn't have my attention as much as I would like to have had it. Again, maybe this is because I don't know anything else by Anderson Paak. I don't have any previous knowledge of him. I don't know what he's about. I don't know what his story is. I don't know what he's writing about. So perhaps if I had more knowledge and background as to what was going on, and I could have done more research, but I think that might have just grabbed me so I could understand the story of where he's going with this more. The 3 songs I personally recommend for this album were Come Home, featuring Andre 3000, again because of that orchestral section, and in the second half of the song, he does go into this. Andre, I believe, goes into this rap section, which I kind of was digging that one. I don't know, just the very just differences of the first half of the song and the second half of the song. I like that transition. The second song that I really liked was "Reaching Too Much," featuring Lala Hathaway. I just liked, again, it is the longest song on the album. It's 6 minutes almost, 5 minutes and 55 seconds to be exact. But it just shows you the progression of the music throughout the song, and I really enjoy that. I like to see progression through the music and just fluctuating, intensities and just the moods it creates. It starts with a much faster, not faster, but more upbeat tempo, and then switches to this really calm aspect to the music, and I greatly enjoy that. I do want to give it up to Anderson for some of these people that he featured. Smokey Robinson, I know, was a huge back in the 50s and 60s, so the fact that he was featured on one of the songs in this album, Make It Better, there's applause to that, because again, it shows us digging from our roots and expanding the music. Lastly, the last song I would recommend is King James. Now, with this song, I kind of understood the story. I believe he was referring to LeBron James, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows, please let me know in the comments section. But I believe it's talking about, with the fact that LeBron James, if I'm right, is so huge and has such a huge influence. I feel like Anderson Paak is telling him to, use that influence to better not only himself, but the people that are watching him and see him as an inspiration, and to use that power and prestige that he has to boost the world forward. So overall, there was a few songs I liked on this album, not too much, unfortunately. Again, it's not my style yet. Might be able to get more into it if I knew more of his story and had listened to more Anderson Paak before. But again, this was my first Anderson Paak album. Overall, I would give this album about 6 out of 10, simply because it just lost my attention halfway through, and just it didn't have that grab that I was looking for on the album. But again, not a bad album. Go check it out. That is Ventura by Anderson Paak. Thank you.